It's full time at the Etihad Stadium and it's finished Manchester City 2, Newcastle 0. And wow, what an important 3 points that is. We close the gap to Arsenal and make it 2 points with them still to play this weekend. Here to dig into all the action, into that brilliant, impressive win against a very good Newcastle side is Steve Howey and Shaun Gota. Steve, we needed 3 points. We wanted a clean sheet. We got both of those, and it was a great, exciting game as well.
It was, yeah. I mean, you got to give credit to Newcastle. I thought they did very, very well. Obviously, they'll feel a little bit aggrieved, especially when it was 1-0. Joelinton has that big chance to make it 1-1. He misses it completely, and literally within a couple of minutes, it's 2-0 and the game's out of sight. But you've got to say, all in all, City did deserve the win. But a tough battle, a well-deserved win, though.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we can see why Newcastle have done so well this season. But that man there, Shaun, was instrumental, of course, in today's win. He got given man of the match here at the Etihad Stadium, scorer of our opening goal. You can see the appreciation from the fans, knowing now that it's more or less a final till the end of the season. I think Nadem said that earlier on in the show. How important was it to win today and put that pressure on Arsenal, Shaun?
Yeah, it was a must win. Needing to keep their pressure on Arsenal, play well, keep a clean sheet, because again, opposition teams that come and play against us, when they start to look and they think, wow, City continue on getting the results, but they're also starting to get back to clean sheets. So if I'm a forward playing against City, to come up against City, I'm thinking I've got my work cut out, because they're organised, they don't give away much. Newcastle are a team that pose a great threat in set pieces. I mean, they've got quality players in terms of a set piece. And the fact that City's been able to keep a clean sheet, because I always thought with the set pieces, throw-ins or corners or free kicks, they would ask questions, and I thought potentially that's where they may have scored. City's dealt with it. City's matched it. So Ederson gets his 100 club, 100 clean sheets. So brilliant by City. Yep. Brilliant. Keep their pressure on Arsenal as well. Absolutely.
We'll focus on Ederson in just a second. But looking at that second half, we began the second half 1-0 lead as, of course, the goal we had from Phil Foden. Beautiful run, Steve. But we said, you know, Newcastle were going to come at us. They brought on the two players that you mentioned at half-time, Isak and St. Maxim, and it felt like the momentum was shifting. Why? What was it that they brought to the pitch that kind of seemed to help Newcastle kind of attack our goal a little bit more? Because, as you say, big chance to go 1-1 there.
Probably it's them two players, when they get the ball, their first thought is, what can I do going forward? Rather than kind of, I'll keep possession, I'll play it back. We know what St. Maximin's like. He, as I said at half-time, he's very frustrating, but he's dangerous and he's direct. Yeah. And it's the same as Isak. He's exactly the same. I mean, he had a half chance where he's tried to have a shot. Again, I think it's really good defended by Ake. And then Ederson comes out and does ever so well. But he's a threat. I mean, probably as Newcastle fans will be thinking, well, why does he not start with them? You know, because, as I said, they are difficult to mark, and especially when Isak is kind of, I don't think he's a player that can play up front on his own, i.e. Wilson,
yes.
Type just up there. He likes to drop deep. That's where he causes problems. But as I said, they had chances, they couldn't put them away. For City, I mean, sometimes you've just got to you've got to win at all costs, and you've got to win even if it's an ugly performance. I mean, it wasn't the most sparkling performance, yeah. But I definitely thought they did enough to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, we're never going to be able to win those games 4-5-0. We knew it was going to be tight. It was a battle there out on the pitch.
Yeah.
They had those few chances. Joelinton as well, very, very unlucky with a great ball across. Bernardo Silva comes on, scorer of the second goal. Before we focus on the goal, Shaun, what was it that he brought onto the pitch that then shifted the momentum back in City's favour? Because you could really feel that once he made his way out onto the 11.
It surprised us all, because it was Kevin De Bruyne that was being subbed, and Pep sees things that we all don't see. But right off the mark, what he does is he goes and presses. And, we spoke about him pre-game, just talking about what he brings. He's able to keep the ball, keep possession, but if you want to change the momentum of the game in terms of pressing, Bernardo Silva is your go-to, because, again, he has energy, bags of energy to be able to step forward and go, right, I'm going to go press. Who's backing me up? Others back him up. And City will be able to then change the momentum of game when out of possession. And I think that was one in possession, he's able to keep the ball, but out of possession, I think Pep was winning City to just win the ball back quicker, because Newcastle had their share of spells of possession, and once they started to get a number of passes, then they were able to get better balls out wide or balls down inside to the wide players and ask questions. So I think he wanted more control. But again, out of possession, Bernardo Silva, bringing that press and that energy. And this is why we can start to see it now, why he has this rotation thing. We normally, we sit and we think, it's rotating, why is he rotating? But players are like, I ain't playing for a game and a half, I ain't playing for 2 games. They're jumping at the bit. Yes. Bernardo comes on, again, just gives you that energy, pressing. And it just, again, gives a different element and change for City.
I mean, I think it's a sight no City fan will ever tire of, is Bernardo Silva pressing the ball and running around the pitch. And I believe, it started with that press. The ball got played out, and then Steve, talk us through the goal, because, he'd been on the pitch for less than, 3-4 minutes, and he'd put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, well, basically, I think Eddie Howe will be looking at this and he'll be thinking it's actually Newcastle's fault. Because Trippier has the ball and he tries to just dink one forward or knock one forward with the side foot, just try to pop it in there. He loses it. Obviously, the ball breaks to, I think, Grealish, and then he feeds in Haaland. Haaland does really well. He's very aware of what's behind him, and he just helps it on just with that slight little touch. And obviously, it's a fantastic finish from Silva. But, I mean, as I said, this is how games can change so quickly in such a quick space of time, because 45 seconds just before Joelinton had that chance?
Yeah, it was.
It could be 1-1, and when Man City scored, that's when they could have been taking the kick-off, and it's 1-1. And the game's kind of done with then. As I said, for Man City, it's one of them games where it hasn't been brilliant, but if you're going to win a Premier League, if you're going to win a title, sometimes you've got to win ugly.
Yes.
And I think today, they've worked so hard, they've battled so hard, because that was a physical encounter, and the two of them were at it, and the Man City players know they've been in the game, so they'll be delighted sitting in there now, delighted with the 3 points.
Yeah, as are all City fans as well. Shaun, sorry?
Yeah, I mean, just talking about elements of the game, I like the fact when it got into that little bit of an argy-bargy. I mean, Haaland was laughing towards the end, smiling, but I like the fact of showing that, if we want to get tough, we want to get, mix a little bit.
Yeah.
The players are there, and I think a club and a team is a reflection of the manager. The one thing we know is Pep Guardiola never wants to have altercations, but it's as a team, there are times on your pitch you can't avoid having it, because a team is bringing it, and you just can't keep going, well, I'm going to ignore it. So there's times you have to stand up, and I like the fact that every now and again, you got the players that are saying, well, you want to mix it, let's mix it.
Yes.
And so I think this shows the team spirit as well.
Well, Pep had said that as well. I think it was, when maybe we were in that moment where we were on a bit of a dip. I think there was it was a game Rico Lewis was playing, a few challenges on him, and he said no one was defending him, and I think, fans want to see it, but that's what Pep wants to see as well. And as you say as well, it shows these teams that maybe think they can come and be a bit more physical, that they will match them, and we've got the players to do it as well, Steve. Yeah,
I mean, it's, as I said, he did mention that, and I think that probably have hit a note with the players 100%, because they might be thinking, well, actually, we are all together, we are a group, but when they've looked at it, they've gone, do you know what, he's right there, because nobody did step in. None of the older pros, the senior pros, the more experienced pros actually came in. But then again, you don't have to be an experienced pro, you can come in because you're for your team.
Yes.
And as Goat said there, when Grealish, his teammates must be like, he's fouled again. Is he going to get protection or what? And then obviously with that foul, and Haaland seeing what Dan Burns done, standing over him and having a dig at his mate, his teammate, he's thought, I'm not having this. Yeah. So me personally, I like to see it.
Same, and it got the crowd going here at the Etihad as well. It was epic, and I think as well. I mean, I don't know if I can say this, but there's got to be more protection for Jack Grealish. How some of them, players carried on fouling persistently, I don't know. But there we go. We got the win, 2-0. Now on commentary we had Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison. Els has been with us throughout the show. It's been so great to have her around the stadium, bringing us some behind the scenes, and now she can bring us the thoughts of Andy Morrison. She's down there pitchside somewhere, I believe.
Well, the full-time whistle has blown here at the Etihad. I'm joined by Andy Morrison, who was commentating on the game today. Firstly, if you could summarise the game.
I thought Newcastle were excellent. They started really well, caused us problems, they pressed well, they created opportunities. Aki's pulled off a fabulous tackle to prevent a definite goal. And, then a moment of magic from Foden, who's drifted inside, gone past 3 players. His first touch, he's dribbling, is that clever. They can't touch him in the box, and it's a great finish. After that, the game has gone either way it could have gone. They made 3 substitutions, and I thought Newcastle were excellent. But it's a massive game to get over and get that victory today.
Definitely. I would say a few fantastic passes from Newcastle there. But obviously 2-0 to City in the end. We got a goal from Foden and a goal from Bernardo. Phil Foden, man of the match. Let's talk about his performance, because he is just in great form at the moment.
Yeah, we spoke about that before the game. You want your key players, when they're in form, to be playing. And he looks like he's going to score every game. He's bright, he's lively. I thought his touch and I thought his carrying of the ball was exceptional. There were some really good performances. Rodri was fantastic again. Jack Grealish was exceptional. And then the moments where I think Murphy crossed the ball, Linton's just missed it. That's a key moment, because a minute later we get the second goal. A great substitution from the manager, because he saw something in the game that needed to change. The pattern wasn't right. They were getting overrun in certain areas. Once that second goal came in, we were very, very good after that and saw the game through. Definitely.
The energy after Bernardo came on really switched up as well. I think it brought a new element to the game for sure. Finally, let's talk about Ederson, because he's officially now got his 100th clean sheet for Manchester City.
Yeah, he should be very proud of me. He should be really proud. We've been waiting a few weeks for it. But I think when you're playing in a Pep Guardiola team, I think, you don't get asked a lot to do as a defender, but you have to stay switched on. You cannot switch off, and especially the periods of the game where he doesn't touch the ball, and then you have that key moment where he needs to make a save. And today he made a couple of, the saves we'd expect him to make, and I thought it was fitting right at the end that the free kick was the last moment in the game, and that was his the save which got the record. Fantastic.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much to Andy, and thank you for watching. That is it from us here, Pitchside at the Etihad.
Thank you, Els. Thank you, Andy Morrison, as well. Let's quick word on that, of course. It's been eluding him for some time, Steve and Shaun, but Ederson, 100th clean sheet, and that is no small feat, is it, in the Premier League?
Absolutely. I mean, as Andy had sort of said there, for a goalkeeper, and for me, I think a testament of a quality goalkeeper is when you play in a team like Man City, or when you play in a top team, sometimes there's not a great deal to do, but when you're called upon, you've got to be ready. And there's been so many times when that has been the case. But for him personally, as I said, he'd have been thinking, when is this going to happen for him to get his 100th clean sheet? And he'd be delighted to get it today. Yeah,
absolutely. And there's been, I think, sometimes there's a bit of chat about kind of Ederson, could he be helping himself with the clean sheets? But I think, it's tough, Shaun. And also what we forget is how key he is to the way City played. Like, I think Pep said it as well. What City have done in Pep's time in charge would not have been possible without Ederson.
Would not be possible without Ederson. In terms of the build-up and how we build up, you need a goalkeeper that's, one, is brave, has confidence, has great distribution, not only for short passes, also for long passes, because he's that sort of goalkeeper that can assist goals with his quality of passing. You have to have a calmness as well when you know you got a centre forward charging you down, pressing you, and not to panic and just kick it long, because, Pep's saying, even though that player is pressuring you, there is a free player. Find that free player, because once we break that press, 3 passes later, we're actually on the edge of the box. So he's so vital and important. I'm really pleased that he's been able to get this 100th clean sheet, because, again, we give so much credit to how we attack and how we play, but there needs to be some attention and some light on him as a goalkeeper, because he's so instrumental in terms of how we build up. And today we saw times when they're pressing and he just goes, pops it in, it bounces back, centre back, step forward, and we're just like, Newcastle were pressing there, but it didn't look like it because of his calmness to start all that off.
Yeah.
He's a goalkeeper for me. Has he made mistakes? Yeah, he has. But every goalkeeper does. A goalkeeper, when they make mistakes, they concede goals. That's what happens. But has he been sometimes the match winner because he's pulled an absolute worldly save off? Absolutely, he has. But he is, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, the best goalkeeper by far when it comes to distribution and being that comfortable on the ball. Sometimes he's more comfortable than the players, and sometimes that kind of has gone against him a little bit, because he's basically wanting to put one round the corner and get it back as a 1-2 and then ping it out left or right. But his distribution and then pings, absolutely beautiful to watch.
It's great when you get to see them warming up here. The goalkeeping coach will go stand all around the pitch and he nails it every single time. Massive congratulations to Ederson. 100th clean sheet there for the man, our Brazilian number 1. Well, 31 on the back of his shirt. And as well, the other record, which I thought was quite interesting today, just a quick mention, the goal from Bernardo Silva today made that City's 1,000th It's a tough one to say. Premier League home goal. There were 160 at Main Road, and there's been 840 at the Etihad Stadium. Only the 6th club to do that. So the records keep on falling with Pep in charge. Let's look ahead then, gents. We next go to Crystal Palace. I'm going to be going to that actually in the away end. I cannot wait. Struggled there last season. They've had no wins in 5. They've had 4 draws. Taking on Villa today, Shaun. What sort of games do you think we're going to be seeing at Selhurst Park come next week?
It'll be another tough one. Patrick Vieira's had a little bit of joy when he's played against us, and I think he'll be looking for Crystal Palace to do that again. City, we always know it's tough because, again, I think it's a case of keeping your crowd. They get a nice little bouncy sort of atmosphere going with their crowd, certainly when they have 1 or 2 bright moments. So I think Pep will want to try to go there and control the crowd by controlling the game. But it's difficult because Palace have athletes, athletic players, you know, Sahar and the like. These players will be looking to cause trouble. Tough one, but we need to go there and get a win. We're very capable of that.
Absolutely, and as well, as we know, try and put this run of form together that we know City can do, Steve, to keep that pressure on Arsenal, because that is going to be key as well in the title chase, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just listening to the radio or social media or TV and stuff like that, everybody's expecting City to go on one of the runs. And let's hope this again is a start of them going on a run. It will be a difficult game against Crystal Palace. Obviously, you know, you've got Zaha, you've got Eze and 1 or 2 others. There is that atmosphere. But you've got, if you want to win the Premier League, you've got to go to them places and get results.
Absolutely. Well, fingers crossed we'll be doing just that come next week. And remember, Matchday Live will be every step of the way. Right, that's it from us here this afternoon. A massive thank you to you all for watching. Thanks to everyone who was involved in the show today. Thank you to Alistair Mann. Andy, of course, massive thank you to Elson. Great to hear from you guys around the ground. Of course, to my guests in the studio, Steve Howey and Shaun Gota. We will be back for that Palace game. And don't forget as well, these special shirts that have been made with Puma in collaboration of City and the Community and the Pankhurst Trust. They're going to go online, the ones the players warmed up in, and any funds there are going to go back into those really important projects, of course, as well, with International Women's Day on Wednesday. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a lovely afternoon and a great weekend. Come on, City.
Brilliant clearance off the line by Nathan Ake. Palmer, his first Manchester City goal. Tevez on towards Nasri, 2-1 Manchester City, what a magnificent goal! The title race is back on!